Good morning, boys and girls. This week we are continuing to talk about the difference between fiction and nonfiction. Now let's go over some of the things that we've learned in the past. We know that fiction always tells a story. It has a beginning, a middle, and an end. Fiction is fake. It is make-believe. It has characters. Remember, the characters are the people in the story. Sometimes they're humans, sometimes they're animals. Think about some of the other stories we've read together, like Stand Tall, Molly Lou Melon. In that story, Molly and Ronald Durkin were characters in the story. In Wadney Wat was a character. In Recess Queen, Mean Jean was a character. So sometimes our characters are humans and sometimes they're animals. Fiction is also going to have a setting. A setting is where the story takes place. It's also going to have a problem and a solution. Remember that problem is what goes wrong in the story. It's some kind of conflict that the character faces. And solution is how that problem is solved. How did the character fix whatever was going wrong? And last, remember, fiction tells a story. Nonfiction does not tell a story. It teaches us information. It is not make-believe. It is not fake. It is real. Nonfiction is going to be about a real person, a real place, or a real thing. Today, we are going to read a story called Leaves. And as we're reading the story Leaves, I want you to think, is this story fiction or is it nonfiction? It was his first year. Everything was going well. Until the first leaf fell. "Are you okay?" he wondered. Then a red one fell. A yellow one fell. All over his island, the leaves were falling. He tried to catch them and put them back on. But it was not the same. He sat beneath a tree and watched them go all around. But he grew sleepy, and so he found a hole and filled it with leaves and went to sleep. Just as the wind began to blow. Winter came. He slept snug in the ground while the snow piled thick. In the spring, with wide eyes, he woke. He felt the sun and saw the little buds on the bare arms of the trees. And the tiny leaves that had begun to unfold. "Welcome," he cried. and he thought the leaves welcomed him. The end. I hope you enjoyed this story, Leaves. Do you think this story is fiction or nonfiction? Let's go through our list again and determine which category, which genre, that's just a fancy word for which type of writing this book falls into. Fiction has characters. Now, in our book, did we have characters? Yes, we did have a character. We just had one character in this story, and our character was Bear. Bear was the character. Did we have a setting in this story? We did. This story took place out in the forest, out in the woods. Did we have a problem in this story? We sure did. Our problem is that Bear noticed that the leaves were falling from the trees and he didn't know what to do. Was there a solution? There was. Bear, remember what happened? I'm going to teach you a fancy word. It's called hibernation. Say that word. Hibernation. Say it again. Hibernation. This bear was hibernating. It was time when the leaves started falling from the tree. That's fall. So as you look around in the coming weeks, as the weather begins to become cooler, you're going to notice that the leaves are turning colors and they're going to begin to fall off the trees. That's just the seasons changing. Well, as the seasons change and we're getting ready for winter, animals like the bear in our story hibernate. That means that they are sleeping during the winter. They gather everything that they need and they take a long winter nap and they do not come back out until spring. That's what this bear was doing. Does this tell a story? Yes, it does. It told the story of Bear preparing for hibernation and coming back out in the spring as the leaves were beginning to bud on the trees again. Now, nonfiction is about a real person, a real place, or a real thing. Was this about a real bear? No, it was not. It was not about a real forest. Did this book tell a story or did it teach us information? This book told a story. We did not learn any new information about a real person, real place, or a real thing. So this book is fiction. I hope that you enjoyed this story and happy first week of fall.